everyone. Today I am so excited to be speaking with author Lily Graham, and her newest book is called Christmas at Hope Cottage, and she has the copy of it, and she's going to show us the beautiful cover of this book. Look at that. Oh, so cute. Thank you so much, Lily. I was so excited to read this book. I have to tell you, this is a new genre for me, is Christmas books, but I'm loving it. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I've seen them, but I really never got into reading them. And now that I have, I'm like, who knew? Because you guys have to write these at a time that it's not Christmas per se, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was writing this in April and towards the heat and the height of summer in the UK. And yes, there is a summer in the UK. So about those 3 days, it was brutal. No, I'm joking.
3 days.
But yeah, you're getting into the spirit and trying to watch Love Actually and all kinds of movies and films to get and music to get the feeling of Christmas going, and everyone's going to the beach.
Right.
So you look like this absolute weirdo, and everyone's saying, "Oh, it's only May." No, it's December. Oh no, it is May.
About snow. It has to be, right? I don't know. I think it's so, especially, it's close now, okay? It's November, so we can get in the spirit of Christmas now. And especially because you go to, Target and other stores, and there it is, I mean, it's all Christmas decorations. But this book, it goes, for me, it's like, yes, it's a Christmas book, but it goes beyond that. I would read this at any time of the year because it is such a cool story. And first of all, I'm going to tell you my bias towards UK authors that are women. I have a complete bias, okay? I love you guys so much, and I don't know if it's because I'm half English, and I've been working on my ancestry, and I need to go to England because, half my family was from there, and I just have to see it. But you guys write stories that I love, and I have a bunch of you that I've interviewed this year, and those books have been my favorite books, and I'm sorry, so I apologize for but there is something, no, I'm serious, there is something about the way that you tell a story, and I know you didn't get schooled in the UK, you're from South Africa, so I was calling you a UK author as I'm reading it, and I'm like, she's not though, she's not a UK, she's not really, but I don't know, you're there now, so that's all that matters.
I think also our schooling and everything is very similar. But yeah, I've also always been a huge Anglophile myself, so I can totally understand, and I think there is a bit of that, and I suppose that's why in a lot of ways some authors will say my books are a bit nostalgic. It's because I grew up reading these stories and I love them so much, and then when I write I tend to bring that sense of I suppose it's like a longing for a place I used to go to a long time ago,
and I think it's really the way that you're taught the English, I want to say the way you write creative writing. It's taught differently. The way you use words is a little different. It's a little bit more descriptive. I feel like I'm there. I don't know. There's something about the atmosphere of. So, and I wanted to tell you that I was trying to think of I was like, this book reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? And at the end I was like, Bridget Jones's Diary. That's what it reminds me of. That's the kind of book this is, that I got into the character that much that you love her for everything that she does and doesn't do, that kind of a person. And
wow.
maybe not as flawed as Bridget Jones, I don't think, but but I feel like I am Emma. But then I was like, you know what, I think that's the thing, is that she embodies kind of a little bit of what we are at that age. And I can speak, 'cause I'm 53, of that age as a past, but it was just, I don't know, it was so heartwarming and magical. And that's another thing about British UK books, is that they always put magic in there, and I love magic. So I want to believe that kind of a world exists. So let me just I'll let you set up the story a little bit for everybody, so they don't know, because they're like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's funny because actually in the UK, what we find is the magic needs to be subtle, and I tend to be not very subtle about magic. So So it's funny that you say that. I found that the Americans are so much happier to go down that road, and it's because you have this gorgeous tradition of these magical realism authors, like Alice Hoffman and so many. I can't think of all of them right now. But Sarah Addison Allen is another, and those types of beautiful writers. And with us, you always have to be a bit more subtle. So I would just lay it in there. So the first draft of this book was like, practical magic on the Yorkshire moors, and I was going for it. My editor was like, no. Let's rein it in. And there was this big curse, and it went a bit mad. But I'm sorry, let me explain. So it's a story of a generation of women who live in the Yorkshire moors. And it's this little village called Whistling. And for 200 years, the women who have lived there have shaped the village with the things that they make. And but like in any sort of story that's been passed down, some people believe that they do have this influence with food, and other people think that they're frauds, and this has caused all kinds of problems and feuds. And Emma, my protagonist, grows up, she's adopted sort of by her granny when she loses her parents, and she grows up in this village. And for many years, she believes in this magic until she gets a bit older and she starts questioning these things. And it's very much based on my own mom. My mom is just that type of person who will tell you, I'm getting a premonition, or I had a dream. And, for years I never ever questioned it. I just thought, no, of course she does, and then I'm sure all mothers are like this. And then later on, I was like, no, maybe just mine, My family is like that, Well, also my English roots are also based from that part of the world. So my great grandfather and my grandfather came from Northumberland. So it was also quite nice putting those sort of roots in the story and sort of some of the characters. So like one of my aunts is based on Dot. She's the sort of lovable sweetie who's always gossiping, and you can never leave her home, and she's always making you something. And so that was quite really fun to write about, And it's interesting that you said Bridget Jones. That's such an honor, so thank you so much. I absolutely love writing characters. I think it's my favorite thing in the world, So it's almost like the story does come first, but then the characters always take over,
Oh, absolutely. And the way her story, I don't know. I was thinking it related to me, and then I was thinking, you know what? I think it would always relate to me. I wanted to say, well, it relates to me right now, but I think it always would relate if you really looked at your life, and that's like decisions. Her life was based on decisions she made, and I don't want to give spoilers, so I'm trying to word myself very clearly. Whenever I hesitate, it's not because it's because in my head I'm like, don't say that. So, but I love the part that it's about cooking. It's about these recipes, and of course, I want that book. Okay.
Yes, the recipe book.
The recipe book. But
Me too.
I want to tell you my favorite line, and I had two favorite lines. We'll discuss it first.
Okay.
I write these down because I'm such a line person. Okay, I'm a quote person.
I love that.
They are talking, Evie's discussing with Emma about, the magic, quote unquote, that these recipes and trying to explain it to her, right? And Emma says to her, but they don't work. They don't always work. And then Evie says, though sometimes they do work, it's not the way we think they should. And I was like, I got chills, Lily. Okay? I was like, exactly. Like when we say something doesn't work, how do you know it doesn't work? It just doesn't. And to me, it seemed like kind of like a metaphor for prayer in a way, too. When people say, well, my prayers weren't answered. No, your prayers are always answered, just not in a way. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to tell you how much I love that line, because it was just one of those moments that I just had to set it down and be like, I just want to contemplate on what a beautiful line that was, And, what made you come to that? Like when you were when you were writing that, did you know, this is a line, this is a quote?
Yes, I think it originally it was a big part of the first draft of the story was it was just a bit more overt, and because this is not a spoiler, but Emma has to come home after so many years for about I'd say the last 6 years she's been living in London. She's sort of given up her life in the moors, and she's convincing herself that her life is perfect. She loves her new life. She's a well-respected food historian. She gives lectures, but meanwhile she's actually living in a really dodgy flat in Catford and with horrible roommates and all those types of things. And the boyfriend that she's with is a lovely guy, but she's not in love with him. And I think it's about that denial, and how sometimes things have to almost, it's almost like a bone. It was the first time I ever heard that, you have to almost reset a bone for it to heal, right? And I think it's that sort of idea, sometimes, everything has to fall apart before it can be put back. And you might not know all the pieces, but in the end, it ends up working out. It's sort of that things happen for a reason idea, which I love, because I don't agree with it. But I think maybe this is a little bit more in-depth. Like,
I think it is too.
We don't have the full picture, but sometimes things are working out in ways you won't expect, Because I was about to give a big spoiler and I can't.
I know, and that is so true. Like, nobody likes to hear if something happens bad, like what happened in her life. If something happens, you don't want the first person to say to you, well, things always happen for a reason. That is the last thing you want to hear about, because you're like, no, this is not a reason. And I can be the first one that says, well, I don't always agree with that either. Not in that way, but I thought the way you worded it, I was like, yes, that way I can say that I agree, like it just taking it and putting it in a different way makes such a difference, Yeah. And so you know what else I got from it? This is so much fun. Okay. I love that fact that at some point, I think in everybody's life, you have to make peace with your past. And I say this as somebody who's 53, and I have children that are your age. Okay. And some of them, went far away. Not that I'm not close with them, but I have 6 children and some of them went far, and it's like, but at some point you can leave, and that's fine because you do have to experience other things in life. But at some point she had to, and I think we all do. And I don't know if that was what you were going for, but it was beautiful because it's like she had to come back and make peace with the things that she thought were wrong or ruined her life, and that it didn't. And,
Yeah. It's like the vision we have of our own lives, Oh, it was what was this movie that I was watching the other day? It was so beautiful. And it said, nobody wants their own life anymore. You know what I mean? We see YouTube, we see all these other things, and we have this presentation of how life should be, that we ignore, like, who we are as people. And there's so much magic in being who you are. If you allow yourself to be that person with all your flaws and types of, like, for me, it was like, oh, I'm going to do this interview and I'm South African and I'm disabled and I've got a squidgy mouth.
But it's so cute.
Get over that stuff and just be yourself.
Right, just be who you, exactly, just be who you are. And it's really interesting because as I'm reading this book, I was baking with my daughter yesterday, and my youngest daughter, and she had on the Kardashians. So I don't know how the Kardashians are in the UK, but like here, especially for her age group, she's 22. They've been on for 10 years. That's since she's 12. Okay, wow. So she's like a huge fan. And so she was watching it and, telling me things. And she was like, I just wish I could be a Kardashian. And I'm like, oh, Annie, really? Like, no. No. Like, don't just be, like you said, just be who you are. Like, don't go wishing you're somebody else. That's not going to get you far in like, be happy about who you are. But it is hard because you see these people put up on, some kind of pedestal or worshipped and perfect, quote unquote. And it's like, don't be, that's not perfect. They're not perfect, be you.
Yeah. And that was the central message. I mean, that Emma was just denying who she was to such a large extent that everything had started to go so pale. Even her hair, she has this beautiful red, gorgeous hair.
And my daughter does too. So I was telling her about that. She has her hair is all the way down her back and bright red. So.
Oh, and she went no credit. No, you're so fabulous and unique the way you are. I mean,
Yes.
just that, yeah. And I think it was about realizing that you could put yourself in a little box and try and force yourself to be somebody else, or you can just be who you are and take up all the room around you, which I think is, yeah, that was sort of my little message going in there with her.
Oh, and then I have one more quote. Because I
Okay.
hate to bog you down with your quotes, but you had so many good ones, so I had to pick two.
Thank you.
Okay, so the doctor is helping Emma. Okay, do you know which one I'm going to tell you?
I think so.
Because you got smiled right away. And so Emma has a brain injury. That's in the beginning, so we can put that out there. but anyway, so he's trying to help her, and she has other physical injuries, and she was like, I just don't know how to get better. And he says, and I quote, "We have to help it along by being kinder to ourselves." And then I put like ... so it had to be a little bit. And it said, look for small moments of happiness and build on that, or something. I didn't write the rest. But I was like, oh, if we could just be kinder. And I was thinking, does it really change the way your brain, because he's telling her that that's going to change how her brain functions, or to get her back to, and not to think about the before her, to think about the now her. And I was like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, Lily, you need to write like all the time.
Oh.
But I thought how did you come to that? Because that's what I got from it. It's like, does that really, like, if we were just kinder, like you said, you were like beating yourself up. I was beating myself up. I'm like, oh my God, I look horrible today. What am I doing? I don't have any makeup on. I look, I need better makeup. Or we tear ourselves apart. And we're not being, we stress being kind to other people, but what about to ourselves? Would you say that to somebody else? No, you would never say that. You'd be like, no, you look great. What are you talking about? What do you mean? But the things that we say to ourselves change us,
Absolutely. No, it's so true. I'm so fascinated by this topic because I used to be a well-being journalist, so a health journalist back in South Africa. So for, I would say, the last 3 years, that was my job, and I loved it, just researching on wellness and positive psychology and stuff like that. And it's true, your thoughts shape who you are, and they have, it really can change the neurotransmitters in your brain, so that, you're starting to shape the way you think, and all those circuitry builds pathways, and it becomes so much harder for you to dig yourself out of these sorts of thoughts, So you really do need to be kinder. Thoughts are basically like clusters and spirals, and as soon as you start thinking one, your brain is like a detective, and it looks for all the proof. So as soon as you go, oh, my hair is terrible today, and oh, like me, I was going, I look like a chipmunk,
Right.
In fact, it was funny that you say this. I was saying, it was such a stupid comment to my husband, but I said, I look so funny on video, and I don't look like I look in the mirror. Not that I like either of those, but the mirror I'm used to. And he was like, stop being so mean to yourself.
Right. Exactly, and that's why you thought of that. You came up with that line, so I know you know it, okay? But it's so true. And, okay, so the same daughter that I was baking with yesterday, because I have two daughters, and my one daughter does the social media, and her name's Kara, and she'll be watching this. But my younger daughter, Annie, we were at dinner the other night, and she was like, do you want to get dessert? And I'm like, oh, I got to lose 10 pounds by Christmas. She's like, oh, Mom, that is not going to happen. Let's get dessert. And then she ordered dessert. I was like, why don't I think that? Because her thing is like, why are you doing? Yeah, that's stupid. That's not going to happen. So let's just get dessert. And I was like, what a great attitude that is. Well, that's not going to happen, because, you're not going to be able to do that. So why even try? So let's just get dessert. Let's just celebrate the fact that we're out and I never get to go out with her. And, it was like, let's just celebrate right now. Let's not worry about, I have to lose 10 pounds for some pictures that I'm going to, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
In the long run.
I think it becomes so deep, and it's I can't remember what this quote is. It's basically like what you sort of that old Henry Ford quote, like whether you think you can or you can't,
Yes.
you're right.
Yes.
And I think it's so true. You can I think you have to question these limiting self beliefs, you know. But at the same time, I wanted her to, you know, having a disability myself, I didn't want to write her as this person who was, you know, so cut up about her injuries that she never ever recovers in case, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, I wanted it to be realistic. You know, if you do have a brain injury, and it's because with Emma, it's affected everything. All of her senses are scrambled. She's a cook, and she can't bake, and she can't smell, and she can't even taste. And I mean, I just think this is such a horrible idea. And the fact that it's like a rare brain thing that can happen to some people. And I just thought, how horrible. So, of course, I must write about this thing.
Right.
And I just thought it would be so nice to explore that. But then also not to have her, you know, just be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm happy. Life's great. You know, because you wouldn't. I mean, who would? You know, yes, you would eventually, you know, I didn't want her to be all maudlin and horrible. So I'm glad she didn't come across that way. But at the same time, I just don't think it's realistic if someone goes, oh, yes, well, I've got a brain injury, and, you know, 2 weeks later, I'm fine. I'm thrilled with life, you don't know. You know, I wanted her to be frustrated at her progress and that kind of thing. But also at the same time to realize that she was 100% getting in her own way, you know, by resisting everything and that kind of thing. And that's part of her journey, is learning to maybe look at herself in a lot kinder, you know.
I just, like I said, you come up with the best lines. And this is not your first Christmas book, just so everybody knows. You had a Christmas book last year also. And
yes, I've got it here.
Yay.
A Cornish Christmas. It was originally a novella called The Postcard. And then when I got my book deal with Bookager, they asked me to turn it into a full-length novel. So it was all the fault of this book, because I never really thought I would ever write Christmas novels, ever.
Right.
You know, I just wrote this story that was set over Christmas time, and then I, you know, all of a sudden I found there was a whole other world of Christmas novels, and I had no idea.
Me neither. You know, it's like, we know that they're out there. Like, it's not like I haven't seen them, but I just never realized it was in such a novel form, more like short stories, or, you know. And that's why I'm so happy that I found, because you are, you know, the first person that I've read one of these. I don't even know. I don't know what the genre is called besides Christmas, but I'm sure there's like some technical genre name that I'm unaware of. So if anybody knows, I don't know. You know, when they're out there, you know. Yeah. Like holiday, maybe it's like holiday.
I think it is, yeah, holiday books. Seasonal book.
But, and then, okay, so then you wrote that book, and you also have Summer at a Sea Fall Cottage.
Yeah.
That sounds, you know, so then it's like, you do these, like, I love how you do the seasons. It's like winter, summer, you know, because then you have the summer escape. So I was like, oh, how cute. You get these Christmas books, and then you have summer books. So, your reviews on Amazon are amazing. Everybody is loving your books, and I'm so happy for you, because you are a great storyteller. I mean, and you are so young, and you can just keep doing this, and everybody will be so happy. I mean, if you come out with a Christmas book every year, I think that'd be awesome. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion from me.
Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. I think it's got to do with my publishers. You know, we don't really choose the names. So I had all fantastic, crazy names. Like, if it was up to me, Christmas at Hope Cottage would have been called, it's not up to me, it would have been called A Recipe for Emma Halloway. Oh, that's what I wanted to call it. Yeah. And the Cornish Christmas would probably have been The Postcard. Yeah. But you see, the thing is that they're very good at choosing names that do well, and, you know, like, as pretty as those other names are, I don't think they
well, they do a lot more research.
They just appeal to me, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
They do a lot more research on what, you know, what picks up and what doesn't. So I think having Christmas in the title, you know, they like that, you know.
That's great.
Right, exactly. But anyway, so what are you working on next? Like, is it a summer book and then another Christmas book, or is that what it is?
it's funny that the next two are going to be summer books, but
Okay.
they're a little bit darker. Summer at Seaforth Cottage was quite a sad story. It's sort of it's a dual timeline book that goes back to the First World War and involves
Oh,
an
nice.
abandoned cottage and a farm, a daffodil farm that basically went into ruins, and a diary. And the owner of this cottage, she sort of escapes her marriage, and she finds this diary, and she starts to piece back the story of what happened to this lost tenant, And it's quite a sad love story, and it was really quite lovely to write. And then the next book I'm writing now is called, it should be called Escape to the Island. And it's sort of set on a Spanish island. And it's quite it's also quite a sad story. I can't give too much away, but basically a sort of slightly older woman in her, I would say, late 40s, early 50s, who's lost her husband. She, on the day of the funeral, she finds out that her husband has bought her a villa in Spain, and this villa is linked to her past, and it's sort of her Jewish ancestry, and there's a huge backstory that goes back into the 1700s and the years of the Inquisition. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun writing it. It's quite sad, and the research has been pretty amazing. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. I'm hoping to try something a little bit new,
Right. Well, when does your next book come out? Is there a release date yet?
I think it's May or June next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you get me the book, we will we will do another video because I'd love to read it and talk to you, and then we could put it out on the release date, and it can all go out together because I'd love to continue reading your books, Lily. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And can you show everybody the cover of Hope Cottage? Because I want to see the picture one more time before we go. I felt so special though getting it. I was so happy to get it on ebook and be able to read it right before our interview. It was so amazing. So yeah, look at the beautiful covers. I mean, your publisher is doing beautiful covers for you. Look at that.
They're so amazing. They really I don't know if you've heard of them, Bookercher. They the hottest that's their title. They've been given that accolade, I think by Publishers Weekly, the hottest digital publishers in the UK. And they're just an amazing, amazing company. And it just they act like a family, and everyone involved, from the authors to the team, they're just an incredibly kind, supportive bunch. And you really feel that. We've heard from other authors who've been with different publishers, and they just say it's, like nothing ever before. So you get a lot of, you get a lot of support, and, they get excited about their covers while you get excited. It's just such a nice place to be,
Well, I'm so happy for you, Lily. And, everybody pick up her book before Christmas. You will love it. And, it'll be a really fun Christmas read for you to get you into the spirit of Christmas. And please keep in touch, Lily. I love you. I love your writing. I'm so happy that I got to know you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mish.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.